You're listening to Unearthed, Gold in the Unknown, where lost riches wait in the dark and restless spirits guard what's buried below. Dare to dig deeper.
Hello, everyone. Okay, Nathan, imagine this. Nevada, 1870s. A Wells Fargo stagecoach is traveling the 13-mile stretch between Virginia City and Carson City. In the back, a 300-pound strongbox filled with gold. And in the distance, they can see the Carson City mine. They're almost there.
Which is exactly when history tends to lean forward and say, "So you thought." They stop in Empire, Nevada, just 1 mile short of Carson City, and then masked men stepped out.
Now, to understand how bold that is, you have to understand what Virginia City was at that time. The Comstock Lode had exploded. Silver and gold were pouring out of Nevada in massive quantities. It wasn't a sleepy mining camp. It was one of the most important mining centers in the country.
And that wealth didn't just sit in the ground. It had to move. Ore was processed, refined, shipped, and eventually minted into coinage. Stagecoaches weren't carrying trinkets. They were transporting the financial lifeblood of the American West across the open desert.
And Wells Fargo was the artery. Driver, William Manners. Guard, Michael Fallon. 2 men, 1 coach, 300 pounds of gold. You know what's strange though? Every time we talk about Virginia City, it never feels distant to me. It feels personal. Like we're not describing a place in history. We're describing somewhere we left a piece of ourselves.
That's right. That town isn't abstract for us. We've walked those streets, we've stood in those buildings. It's one of the few places where history didn't feel like something behind glass. It felt present.
You remember you took me there for my birthday right after we got married? We had just watched Ghost Adventures, and I remember being fascinated by how intense the place seemed on the screen. And instead of just leaving it there, you said, well, let's go see it.
I honestly thought it would just be a fun historical trip. Old saloons, wooden sidewalks, a little Wild West nostalgia. I didn't expect it to become the place where we both started noticing things different.
There's something about the way that Virginia City sits in those hills. The buildings lean slightly, the streets slope. It doesn't feel polished, it feels layered, like it never fully stopped being what it was.
That's exactly it. It doesn't feel like a staged museum, it feels like a compressed history. Fires, wealth, violence, economic surges, sudden collapses, all packed into one small place. And when you stand in certain rooms, you can feel the intensity. Not dramatic, not theatrical, just heavy.
That's where everything shifted for us. Not because we were chasing ghosts, that bit was fun, but because we both looked at each other and said, do you feel that?
And we kept going back, not to prove anything, just because we were drawn to it.
So I can picture that stagecoach leaving Virginia City, loaded with gold pulled straight from the Comstock. And I don't see it abstractly. I can picture the dust, the streets, the slope of the road.
Same here, and knowing how intense that town's history is, the robbery feels even more charged. That gold wasn't just metal, it represented ambition, risk, survival, everything that built Virginia City. And then 1 mile short of safety, it disappears.
Accounts describe masked men stepping out calmly. Guns ready, no panic, no chaos.
The details matter. Calm suggests planning. 300 pounds suggest preparation. You don't casually run off with that weight. You need extra horses, coordination, timing, which means someone knew something.
Wells Fargo shipments were supposed to be confidential.
Exactly. And when a robbery happens within sight of the mint, that suggests either inside knowledge or extremely careful observation of patterns. The psychological timing fascinates me. 1 mile from safety is when guards relax, and that's when vigilance dips. That's when you strike.
Now here's where it gets messy. Some say the robbers escaped cleanly. Some say the gold was hidden somewhere between Empire and Carson City. But some believe part of it was never recovered.
And that's where logistics get interesting. 300 pounds of gold isn't subtle. It's difficult to melt quietly without infrastructure. It's heavy to bury, risky to divide, If part of it was cached in the desert, something prevented retrieval, maybe betrayal, arrest, death, or conflict amongst the thieves, because gold rarely leaves groups harmonious.
Over the years, locals have reported strange things along that stretch of old trail. Shadow riders at dusk, hoofbeats when there's no horses present.
Which could absolutely be storytelling layered upon landscape. But it also interesting that unfinished events tend to gather folklore. A robbery that close to safety feels unresolved, and unresolved stories linger.
Alright, so Nathan, hypothetically, someone hands us an old survey map and says, "This is the likely stretch. Are we going?"
I would begin by checking land access laws, reviewing how modern developments altered the trail, studying erosion over 150 years, and evaluating how feasible recovery would be.
You would bring research binders to a treasure hunt.
Yes, because optimism without data is just wandering.
But if your metal detector made a solid, unmistakable signal,
Then my theoretical approach might become more considerably enthusiastic.
I knew it. Fine. Responsible Nevada treasure hunt packing list.
Water, excessive amounts,
Sunscreen.
topographic maps,
Snacks.
spare batteries,
Metal detectors.
documentations of historical claims,
A respectful attitude towards 19th century karma.
and absolutely no dramatic statements like, if anyone is guarding this gold, show yourselves.
You're no fun.
Well, I'm alive and that's better.
What stays with me is that they were 1 mile short. They could see the mint.
And that's almost symbolic. Close doesn't equal safe. Relief doesn't equal arrival. Gold has a way of appearing most vulnerable when people believe they're already succeeded.
And maybe that's why this story endures.
Because it isn't just about stolen gold, it's about interrupted certainty.
Somewhere between Virginia City and Carson City, history pivoted 1 mile short of completion.
Whether that gold was melted into circulation or still rests beneath the Nevada desert, this story survives because mystery is powerful.
And for us, Virginia City isn't just the beginning of a treasure story.
It's the beginning of ours,
This has been Unearthed, Gold and the Unknown.
where we dig into history.
And sometimes realize that the places that start mysteries also start the journeys. Thank you for listening.